So we chop him, Stone?
He asked me, and I was like,
that was the plan, but I didn't take two. I'm not really.
I was gonna say, everyone take a chop.
he
I'm
take
gonna ask
one for 2 weeks, motherfuckers.
Only here to talk, only here to save. Only here to give praise to those who paved the way, man. Only here to talk, only here to save. Only here to give praise to those who paved the way, man. I'm asking questions. Where have you been? What you been doing, man? I'm asking questions about the life that you're pursuing, cuz I'm only here to talk, only here to save. It's the Stony Only Talk Radio.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All right, first of all, for the people who've been under a rock, tell them who you are and where you're from. Start off with Dex.
Dex Horn, a little bit South Carolina.
Jay, what's up? What's going on the line?
Dallas, Texas.
Rich.
BD Brawler from Bryan, Texas.
Warren. Warren J. from Springfield, Illinois.
Rudy Gars, originally from Helena, Bravo, Nuevo Leon, but resident in Richmond, Texas.
All right, if y'all emulate anyone's style, who do y'all emulate and why? Let's start with, we're gonna start this and then we're gonna go like this way.
I mean, I always try to be original, but you know, some of my favorites growing up, Booker T, of course, legend, Hall of Famer. My size, I love watching Sheamus. Sheamus, he's an underrated guy. I love that guy.
Okay. Jay.
Man, I'll tell you what, I'm an athlete as much as you know, I get put in the box of power, man. I can do flips and showcase power at the best of them. So the guy that actually got me into wrestling was Jeff Hardy. Just the fearlessness and huge fan of the craziness he did off ladders and such. Man, but if I had to pick just there's too many. I'd say like certain aspects, like I love Triple H's prowess and just the command and cerebral assassin that he carried himself as. Athleticism, of course, with Jeff Hardy. I'm a big fan of Hardy. Sheamus is a good one. Other than that, I love John Cena's storytelling. Man, there's just so much. Stone Cold's attitude, like it's kind of hard to emulate one or two. Man, there's just so many different aspects from so many different characters.
Cut for that answer. What's up, Rick?
So, kind of like what he said, I can't just say one, but like, I would say I go for the aggression of Stone Cold, and I go for the moveset of maybe Kevin Owens or Triple H. I know they're vastly different, but for my body size, I try to do more Kevin Owens.
Okay.
I always love the big moves from Triple H, though, and the way he set them up. I'd say probably a combination of those three.
I emulate from a lot of styles and draw inspiration from a lot of different wrestlers, but one of my favorites was Rey Mysterio growing up. Nice. But also like Rob Van Dam, also like The Rock. There's so many different little aspects you can take from a lot of different wrestlers. I love Kurt Angle, I love Chris Jericho. There's just a lot, and I kind of take from each of those people.
I mean, my big three is Ric Flair, Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels. Those three things, the greatest showmen and greatest athletes I've seen that do it, and that's what I take it from. I emulate from them, and I just try to put in my own style. That's what I do.
That charisma, man, like
Three biggest charismas you see in the
you ain't lying, yeah.
That's what I do. It's all about that. The money makers.
Good talk. All right, guys. How's training going for y'all? And is it anything that you expected?
Well, training going pretty good. I've been working with this guy right here, Rudy Garza, a lot. He's been mentoring me a lot. Spotlight, learning a lot from him. He on the come up just like the rest of us. Got Zach Mason tomorrow, so Zach, I'm taking you down tomorrow in the Rise of Wrestling Royalty. That's gonna be me, all right, the Dex Factor. But that's where I'm at with it. We just gonna keep going, keep grinding.
I want to say something. If y'all want to go like that, feel free to cut each other off and talk shit while you're doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's certain things, you know what I mean? Y'all don't have to go in mine. I'm just trying to keep order because y'all are Renegades. If y'all want to cut each other off.
I gotta keep order. Nah, I'll talk.
Respectfully,
I take forever. Hey, don't give me the freedom to talk. I'll talk for a long time. Yes, so I am trying to.
Well, I wasn't there, so you know what's my shit.
I'm just saying, I steal the spotlight a lot.
I just wanted to seem natural, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go through it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we can start from different people too, right?
Yeah.
Nah, man, you are the so-called leader, bro.
this shorty was so good.
For sure.
I feel that.
Training's nothing like I expected. Actually, that first and foremost. Shoot, when I came in, and I remember just getting the eyes because you see a guy that was well built. You know, the first thing you think of is a football player. You're gonna think all bodybuilder. Like, you know, they come and go from all walks of life, all different types of backgrounds, athletically, and so on and so forth. And there's so much that goes into it, man. And more than anything, I knew from the jump it was gonna be a process and to just respect. You know, thankfully, with my athletic background, just being able to take constructive criticism. You know, sometimes it's a little bit softer. Hey, slap on the wrist. Other times you lay into it.
Yeah.
You know, particularly depending on who the trainer is. But I was just thankful, man, especially being at Row. You have some of the best, not the very best.
You learn it from a two-time Hall of Famer.
No, see, and that's true. But it's the cats, man, that have already paved their own.
Yeah.
You know, that I've learned. Shit, Warren right there. Is
Man, we've been there forever.
You know,
You ain't getting that old. Come on, man. You been 4 years.
4 years.
He's like, you been there for 10 forever, bro. Since PWA times.
We got people like Gino.
Gino's a big one. Yeah,
Who?
right.
Gino.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Playing
Some
Gino.
guy who plays
That's my best friend.
Yeah, it's like all these people who have learned under book and have like perfected his style of teaching also teach us, and we're all just like, it's really like how Roll is set up is just like a whole bunch of passing down of knowledge. So like one guy being booked probably at the, most likely at the top, he's passing down that knowledge to Gino and people like Ryan, people who have have been there for a while, the experience of working at Reality of Wrestling, and then they'll pass it down to someone like me, who I can like teach that to Rudy, who can like teach that to the other Renegades, and it's kind of just like, training is hard, man. It's like, but we all know we need it, and like me, I've been working for 6 years now. I still train at least 3 times a week. I'm trying to get in the gym at least 3 times a week because it's something that you gotta stay on. If you really want it for real, you gotta keep it consistency. And I know there's so many people out there who don't train or don't have the, they may not have the means to train or however their situation may be. But like our gym is always open. We're always got class going on. Yeah. It might be some easy days. It's gonna be some really tough days. Some days we got, 60 people in there and we're doing the craziest drills of our lives, and we're just, seeing where each person is at and everything. So it's something, definitely nothing that I expected, because I've been, like I said, been doing it for 6 years and I'm still training. Yeah. And it's still stuff that I'm learning to this day. So it's like.
And you got WWE superstars that say that have been in business, 15, 20, 30 years that are saying they still learn to this day.
I mean, shoot, I'm a collegiate athlete. I've been through the top athleticism, semi-pro, all that stuff. But like being a wrestler, it's a whole different thing. It's like a fighter. Yeah. It's a fighting thing. People don't understand. Wrestling is nothing. It's just like if you're training for a UFC fight, you're training for anything. I'm telling you. I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've trained kickboxing. I've trained all. It's all the same thing to me because it's a fight. Yeah. When you get in the ring, it's a fight, and you have to prepare for a fight somehow, some way. And wrestling might be different than it is in jiu-jitsu, but it's the same thing. You train for the fight because it's a fight. Yeah. When you get in the ring, it's a fight, and you have to prepare for a fight somehow, some way. And wrestling might be different than it is in jiu-jitsu, but it's the same thing. You train for the fight, and when we train to better each other. And luckily, we have learned from not just two-time Hall of Fame, but people that paid the way and traveled internationally and made it the best, like Gino, Ryan, Rex, Oz. Like we have all these top guys, and they turned into like Warren joining us made us even better, made it a unit till we can learn it from him. Because he's just not Warren J. He's been doing it better in not a singles division, but also in tag division, making us a better unit as a tag team. So the good thing about Raw and the good thing about training is that we perfect our craft our own way, but in the knowledge of them, right? Because Gino might learn it from book, but he learned it his own way, right? His own trick. Ryan learned it from book, but once again, he trained it his own way.
Yeah.
And they trained it the same way, and that's how we all are. We're trying to figure out our own style of fighting inside the ring just to figure that out. And that's the beauty about Raw. That's the beauty about training, and especially in reality wrestling, is figuring out who the fuck we are in the ring.
Like stuff being passed down generation to generation, it all switches up.
And all of this is just better. It's just what makes us, what resonates to us, and what hits us, and like that's what we're gonna use, right? Not everything they do, it's gonna hit us. Like not everything Gino does in the ring, I'm doing the ring because that's Gino's thing. But what if something, maybe something he did, Renegades would be like, I'm gonna do it that way, but different. You know, it's just different fight stuff, right?
Your own style.
I will say this though. I came into wrestling. I used to be a football player.
Okay.
I was an amateur fighter for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did MMA, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
3 years. Wrestling is the hardest thing I've ever done.
True.
It is the most physically demanding thing I've ever done in my life.
Mentally.
You have to be a gymnast, you have to be a fighter, you have to keep up with your body image, so you gotta lift weights, you gotta cardio. All while you're doing theatricals.
Yeah.
And that's the key, man. There's a lot of tough cats, man, that look good, that that can make throw a punch or make take a body slam or what have you, man. But they're boring.
Well, they can't cut a promo.
That's the point,
Stuff
man.
like that, yeah.
What all these guys when they're characters but can't wrestle for nothing. So it's like, okay, well, we want to believe you, but we got to see some action to it. Or you have these guys that are all action. Oh man, like they're beasts, but like you get on the mic or you watch them, you're like,
You got the guys with $1 million body who have no presence.
That's boring.
It's enveloping like talk about training, man. It's everything we hit on a consistent basis and getting better because I think we all can agree, no matter where we came from or what we're training for. There's always some young cat that's just only scratching and clawing behind us trying to get to where we're at. And I think that's what solidifies us as renegades and kind of sets us apart from any other team, faction, or even individuals. As we create this journey moving forward, albeit having experience prior or just coming up and learning the ropes as we speak, is knowing like, hey, we know that there's young cats out there looking at us like, hey, that's our next meal. You need to be at the best of your ability, training from a training perspective to say, hey, brother, we here.
But not even
Not just
that.
getting to the point, it's staying at
It's staying at the point. And it's like getting better. Not just
Yeah,
staying at the
that's
point,
true.
but it's getting better.
There's vets out there too that use us as, I guess, feeding, right?
Yeah.
Or we can use these trainees, or we can use these young cats as
Jobbers.
jobbers. And once again, that's not the job of the thing. To be a professional, it's not about being a jobber, right? We are renegades. We are at the top of this food chain, technically at reality wrestling. So we shouldn't do that outside of reality wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's how we were trained, right?
Yeah.
You gotta pay your dues and do everything else. But once again, we're not no jokers. None of us are. No matter how many years we've been in. He's been in 6. This is my 3rd year coming in. This is like their 1st year coming in. So it's like none of us are droppers. None of us are just easy meat till you can go in, right? And that's the problem. You got young cats in the back of us trying to take our spot, but also our older cats are trying to just use us for their leverage and they make them better, right? But that's the tough about being in this industry. It's just not the young cats. It's also the vets.
So it's a lot to
right?
think about.
It's a lot. And all you gotta do is just grind, get better, and you have a unit like we do that help each other out, that grow and make each other better. There's no way that should ever happen, right?
I love it. All right, guys. How do y'all come together as a unit? And is there a lot of chemistry there, or are y'all still learning each other? Or is an ass whooping just an ass whooping, and y'all deliver that well?
I mean, it depends who's in the ring. I can tell you that. It depends.
But the ass whooping is gonna happen. That's first and foremost. That's gonna happen regardless. Let's just put that out. That's gonna happen.
And look, I can tell you this. Chemistry's there no matter if me and Warren in there, me and Dexter in there, Warren and John, Warren and Jay, Warren and DD, or me, like it doesn't matter. Chemistry's gonna be there. Because we have one goal in mind, and that is to be the best every other wrestler, or be the best in this industry, to take over. And an ass whooping, like you said, it's gonna happen no matter what. An ass whooping is gonna happen no matter what. Hands down. We ain't no jokers. But there's still mistakes because once again, we're a new faction. We came together for one goal, right? We're still trying to learn each other. It's all three answers together. We're still trying to learn each other.
Yeah. But everyone's mindset is the same. We've got the same goal in mind. We've got the same aspirations and mission to accomplish within reality wrestling. So whether we're just one of the two guys behind me that wants to go for like the tag team titles, I got that knowledge, that experience in tag team wrestling to teach them the way to go. So but like any other faction, we're all learning. Like we just got together. I got with these cats, off of whim. I didn't expect to, be a part of the Renegades. Yeah. It kind of just happened, and I kind of just wanted to, use it to my advantage, use it in some kind of way to, make us shine on the platform that we have as reality wrestling. We got to get everybody's attention. We got to bring eyes to the product. We got to get people on, people's eyes on us. And that's what I saw in these guys. That's what they want to do. They're coming up. They're hungry. They're in the gym every single day training. They want to be seen. They want to be recognized. They want an opportunity. They want to get on the show. And I'm just like them. I might be on the show already, but there's other, dreams and aspirations further than this that I want to do that I'm trying to get to. So, like WWE tryout or any kind of, opportunity outside of reality wrestling that may present itself, like you got to be ready for it. So going back to that training, the training question, it's just like we're always prepared. That's what we train for, to be prepared, because you never know when that call's going to come. You're like, hey, you want to come out for a tryout? But you got to come like in 2 days. Yeah. Are you going to be ready, or are you going to be like, man, damn, I ain't trained in 2 weeks. What am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like,
y'all stay prepared.
You
already know that.
Hit
me up, baby. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Yeah.
You stay ready.
Hey, you never know when the call's going to come in. It's like, hey, so-and-so couldn't show up to this show. Can you come out tonight and wrestle? You want to come out here? You want this opportunity to make some bread real quick? Are you going to be ready? Or are you going to be like, damn, I just ate a whole bunch of Mexican food?
Why you got no Mexicans out there, bro?
If one of us loses, it's on you.
Yeah. You gotta make sure the money right, man. Hey, it's a little too late, man. I'm already chilling. I'm off today,
This is my off day, so this is a good cheat day.
I was ready, then I hung out with Stoney.
I was ready. Hey, BK, I'm ready for you, but if I lose, it's all Stoney's fault.
I'm still ready. I can go in there right now.
Nah, I'm ready 24/7. It's staying ready.
My six pack might be looking a little pudgy.
What is the one thing that book always says and tells us?
Stay prepared.
Stay prepared. Preparation is the only luck you're ever gonna have. You're gonna have, right? Because luck doesn't happen, man. You gotta do it. You gotta put in the work, and when opportunity does happen, that is your luck. Your preparation prepares you for your luck, man. That's all we got. We took the opportunity since the first day. Yep. So the first time we got in, we had this whole thing with Q, then with BK, then with Zach, then Will, and everything else, and with Book thing. We were all prepared. I was prepared since day one, and that was the opportunity that gave me, and I was prepared for it. And since then, the spotlight has been the brightest it's ever been, and everyone has shined. Warren took the opportunity to join and got his career better. His spotlight has been a lot brighter, and his work has been 10 times better. So has everybody else in the Renegades, man. He's been killing it in Lions Pride and everywhere else. So we're always prepared, always.
We hit the ground running and we're not slowing down.
Sure. All right, y'all. Who would you say is the glue that keeps y'all together on the same page, or on the same page at least? Or is there a couple of y'all that kind of like
Definitely
y'all?
I'll be here,
I think more than anything, man, like kind of touching on Warren's points from earlier, like we all share the same like common goal, the same aspirations, the same mindset. So I don't think it's like, there's any animosity or issue with any, in between or whatever. I think, when one of us messes up or something, or if we have a bad match or what have you, things happen. We understand there's that common fundamental foundation that we all have, congruently together established. We know, hey, smack in the back of the head, like, you know what we're supposed to do, you know what the goal is.
And kind of like what Warren said, more so than anything, we all from different walks of life. We all got the same mindset. We don't gotta be buddy all the time.
Nah.
Hey, let's hang out. But we got that. We know when it's time to get in this ring. When we're at wrestling, Renegades. We all on one accord. We on the same page.
The other day, we're brother.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, people want to, I guess they paint me as the in facto leader of the Renegades, but really there is no leaders of the Renegades. Like, we're all walking the same path, and we're all embracing that walk and that journey. And you know, it might not be the golden boy way, the right way. Let's just do it fair and all, because you know life's not fair. I've been screwed a whole bunch of times in life, but you know, I took those punches and kept going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in some dark places in my life, but I took those punches and kept going. And now it's time to, like, you know, reap what I sow or manifest what I want, you know, to make my own reality, because people do it all the time. People are getting, you know, they're living their dreams every single day. Why can't I? So, you know, it doesn't matter which way I go. You know, it might play a little dirty. It's a sport. It's wrestling, man. I'm trying to win.
It's all about the wins. It's all about the dollars. Yeah. It's all about championships, and that's our goal, right? And the glue depends on the moment, right? Warren's sometimes the glue, because his guidance helps us get together when this plan doesn't go accordingly, right? You know, sometimes their power, their muscles, the glue, right? The moment to make us get to the point that we needed, right? It all depends the right time, who's the glue, right? For one unit, when it comes together, right? We have one goal, and that's the goal, right? We manifest what we want, and we get what we want, because we all are the glue to each other, depending on what cracks and who needs to glue it up together.
I think that's the best. That's probably the best description. I know I kind of had a moment when Warren was saying, you know, he doesn't look at himself as a leader. I would say, man, in a respect-driven business, man, you got experience is key, and I think, you know, Warren showcased that better than anybody, truthfully, in this group when it comes to you know, pulling out whatever is necessary to get the win, because life isn't fair, and you know that's a hard pill for a lot of these, you know, these fans to swallow. You know, we go over, we do the job, we get it done.
I agree with that. Warren did something that no one else did. I'm not gonna say he betrayed his best friend, but he did the right thing for himself, right? He saw something that Booker was trying to do. He's supposed to do, and he did what he's supposed to do to be like, nah, it's my time. You know, it's not just about you, it's about me, right? It's a unit. Yeah, you had your shine, I was trying to help you out, but once again, you didn't give me that props, right? You gotta respect that, right? At the end of the day, it's all about the wins, it's all about the goals, right?
Yeah, checks and championships.
And like, it's all about championships and checking championships, right? So, if you don't want to respect that, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna do it my way, right? And he did it his way, and look at him now. You know, he's doing it his way, and he's shining brighter than, I believe, better than Zach Everett will. I can tell you that, and that is my opinion, and that's not because I'm biased, because he's part of the Renegades, just because coming up in the reality wrestling, seeing Warren in Fly Dev, then coming up seeing him, I see him brighter than ever. And it's just
funny, because like I like how I was kind of thinking about it yesterday, actually. Like, we were a part of, if not his last match, Booker T's last match, you know what I'm saying? But it's also funny because, like, what were they talking about at the end of that match? Okay. How did the ending of Booker T's last match happen? Everybody remembers. We ain't even got to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on
that.
But the thing is, that's the most important thing about
it was
that. It's all about what he did, right? And he put that moment in himself.
Yeah.
And now he's that 30 million view, 40 million view that we have on YouTube. Everyone's gonna remember. Yeah, Booker might be in front of that thumbnail,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, when they watch the whole thing, they're gonna remember his action,
moment. Yeah.
his moment, not his action, not BK's, not Ryan's, not the Renegades, but his. And that's all that matters in this industry. What can you put yourself over? Your damn self. And that's what he did, yo.
Yes, sir.
And I'm telling you, that's why he's much brighter and much better than he will ever be in Fly Death. That's my opinion. But once again, it might be biased because he's in the running.
No, see, I'll be the unbiased one because you can paint Warren to be the bad guy out of that because of the way they roll. Warren could easily just capitalize on the moment and got out of there. So I'm doing my own thing, man. Bump Fly Death, You know, the Renegades, like, did what I had to do to get them to get the victory, but what did he do? He stuck around and said, hey, you know what? There's some young cats that are hungry, right? Why don't I impart some wisdom? So you gotta look at that. I'm like, how can you be a bad guy? If you were a bad guy in that role, you would have said bump this and been on my own.
There's no such thing as being a bad guy. Just doing what you want to do. People like it, and people don't. And people most likely don't like what we do because we do what we want and we get what we are.
We mostly get results.
We get results and we're young into this and people don't like that. And that's all it is. We're not bad guys. We never are bad guys. We just do what we want and we get results done.
Hate it or love it.
Hate it or love it, it doesn't matter to us.
We could still be sweeping floors.
Yes.
We could still be taking tickets.
There's 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and the Renegades whoop some ass. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. What made you each want to join the business?
Who wants to start this?
I know, here we go.
Well,
Here we go.
Let's go.
I was thinking about this the other day too. Just like how,
You think everything you was reflecting.
yeah, I was reflecting on that, like how,
You get much time to yourself, bro.
those car rides are long, man.
Hey, they do.
Especially if you're driving by yourself. You're just like, I remember when I was like in 3rd grade and I went to school one day and these kids were just playing with these action figures in this wrestling ring and I had no clue like what it was or what they were doing. And they're just like, yeah, man, this is so-and-so, this is Vader, this is boo. I'm just like, yeah, alright, like, yeah, wrestling, man, it comes on channel 30 and go check it out. I want to go check it out. And I don't remember the exact day or nothing like that, but like I just remember like that moment, like seeing kids play with toys at school, them telling me to go watch wrestling, go watch that. And ever since that, I was just like, okay, this is the shit. Like, and it was just crazy because it was something that like I kept watching and I got more and more into, and then like I never grew out of it. And it was like a lot of my friends were just like, oh yeah, I don't watch wrestling no more, whatever, we'll grow out. But I'm still like grown as hell, still like watching wrestling. Like I'm seriously like interested in it. And I remember just one day just chilling. I always used to pretend when I was a kid, play wrestling with my brothers and all that. Never thought about taking it really serious. Like it might have been a thought in my head, like when I was young. But growing up and going to school and everything like that, I never really, took the steps to make it a reality. And I just remember chilling one day watching wrestling, and I'm just like watching it, and I'm just like, man, I know I can do this. It was like this would be so much fun. Like I always.
What era was that in though? When you were watching?
I think, man, it was probably like, I mean, I started training like 6 years ago. So, I mean, it was I know I was watching some throwback, like some old, it was like on DVD, so it was like something old.
Okay.
But like, I'm just watching them work and everything like that, and I'm just like, I can do this. Like, I know I can do this. I'm just like, I got to figure out how to, train, how I can, figure out how I can get into this business. So like, I kind of did some research in my hometown. I came across this wrestling promotion. And it's funny because I used to, like, I want to say years prior to me discovering this promotion, I used to play basketball for the YMCA. And there used to be this wrestling company used to just set up shows like right after we played our games. Like as soon as the kids get done playing all their little games the whole day, they clear out and then they start setting up for a wrestling show. I remember I used to beg my mom, like, can we stay? Like, man, we've been here all day, let's go. But that was it was the same wrestling promotion. So many years later, they're still running, and like I looked them up, and they had a show. And I was like, I'm gonna go check them out. I'm gonna sit in the crowd, and then like I'm gonna look for whoever looks like they're running things. I'm gonna go up there and talk to them about how I can get into the business. And I sat up there, and like at times I thought I was going crazy too. Like I used to pray and just like, man, God, if this is stupid, just let me know. But like I feel like I want to do this, but like it's kind of like it could be crazy to some people. I mean, me in a crazy like in some tights with my shirt off, like really doing this and all that. Yeah. And like I was like, I remember asking like if I'm on the right path, send me a sign. And I went to the show. I'm just chilling, watching the show. They doing their thing. They had throughout the night the announcer some tights with my shirt off, like really doing this and all that. Yeah. And like I was like, I remember asking like if I'm on the right path, send me a sign. And I went to the show. I'm just chilling, watching the show. They They're doing their thing. They have throughout the night, the announcer kept on announcing that they're gonna have this special announcement. They're gonna announce it at intermission. Got this special announcement. Go announce it at intermission. Blah blah blah. Like, throughout the matches and everything. They finally come intermission. And he's like, okay, it's time for the big announcement. That, you know, we finally got our, you know, things together and we're going to be opening our very own wrestling school. And I like instantly looked up like,
this sign right there. Close to you.
It's time. All right, cool. So, Pinfall Wrestling Association in Springfield, Illinois was the place. And right then and there, I like talked to somebody about, you know, signing up for the school and got in. I got in a 6 months class, 2 months later. So I only trained for 4 months. And my trainer, Jaron McGaffrey, he let Guy Smith is his wrestling name. He let me in the class late. He was like, if you really want to do this, you got a lot of catching up to do. But like,
he gave you that shot.
Yeah, he gave me that shot, gave me that opportunity, and I graduated. You know, taking it for 4 months with the 6 month class, and graduated. Had my first match after 4 months of training. The match was trash, but I was, you know what I'm saying? It was a start. It was my foot in the door. It's me getting in the ring, and like, man, that's just kind of how it got started, man. Like,
okay. Well, I'll go ahead and go. I'll give it a quick version of
It's like a
Yeah, I'm asking maybe another.
Do they have another
15
party?
minutes.
They don't have. No.
No.
See if they have another party coming. If they don't have another party coming, they'll give you the room. Just make sure it's good.
Alright, go ahead.
Alright, well, I'll go ahead and go how I got into wrestling. I'm not like most people when they be like, oh, I remember this day and that day. It seems like from the time I can start remembering stuff, I always watched wrestling. I always knew what it was. I remember being a little boy, my dad watching it on TV. I remember being at a WCW Monday Night Nitro with my dad. And I seen Jeff Jarrett and Mongo McMichael and Psychosis. So it was always in my life from the time I was born, but I did the actual opposite. I remember I got to 3rd grade and everybody was like, hey, football. From a little boy all the way to 3rd grade, I had always been watching wrestling. So I got on football. And football was my interest all through high school, all through college, but I still watched wrestling. I was into wrestling, but football was number one. I was like, hey, I want to go to the NFL. Went to play college football. Of course, I didn't go to the NFL, but I remember when I graduated college, I was like, I went to school to be a football coach, but I really didn't want to, I kind of lost interest with football at that time. And I'm like, what am I going to do with life? I'm not going to the NFL. I'm just going to be a loser the rest of my life. I'm 23 years old. I don't have no goals. And I remember I was with a friend, and we were driving, and it was SmackDown. It was a house show. It said it's going to be in Tyler, Texas this Monday. And I was like, yo, let's go. At this point, I wasn't really watching wrestling at this point. I took a couple years off. Went to that Friday night SmackDown, went to that house show, and I'm just watching it. I really don't even know everybody. Only people I really know is Randy Orton at this time. I know Kane, of course, Bray Wyatt. But it's people like Mojo Rawley and people coming out. I'm like, who is that? Alexa Bliss, because I had stopped watching for about a 2-year period.
That's baby.
And
I'm just saying.
So I remember, I don't know what it was about him. I just remember seeing Kurt Hawkins get in the ring. And he was cutting the promo, and I was like, I can do this. Yeah. Something about me watching that was like, this is what you need to do. You're not going to the NFL, you're tired of football, you need to be a wrestler. And from that point on, like, I had, within a week later, went and got signed up for the WWE Network, started watching all the old stuff, got back into wrestling, started figuring out all the new guys.
Studying and shit.
With that same friend, that's when the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view went to Dallas, seen Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. I was like, hey, I'm moving to Houston. I knew Booker T had a school. Hey, here it is.
Hell yeah.
All right, I guess I'll do this. Mine's a little weird. So, like, as a kid during the Attitude Era, wasn't allowed to watch wrestling.
I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling.
Well, I mean, you got DX, you got NWO,
NWO.
copycatter. But like everybody,
I'm gonna do it first.
everybody at school had the Wolfpack shirts, the NWO shirts, and all. And I just wanted to know what it was all about. So like I'd sneak watch it, and I'd play the video game. NWO, WCW Revenge, best video game.
That was a good one.
N64.
I still play it to this day.
You still got one?
I still got one, bro.
You don't got 64, you tripping.
I didn't even threw mine away. I still got it on work.
Alright, fucking interrupt it, let me finish.
But yeah, so I went allowed to watch it, and then my dad told me it was fake. He's like, "Oh, wrestling that fake shit." I was like, "All right." So I didn't really I snuck it, but I didn't really get into it until like middle school. Yeah. And then by that time it wasn't cool. So like I played football. Realized after high school I was gonna.
So we have plenty of time. I want to say we can run over. It don't matter. He's not expecting nothing, but in the meantime, I need any refreshments.
I just asked him.
I do. Can I get another water?
I was gonna say how long do I have you for? Because
I'm free all night. It's up to them. They're the busy ones.
Are you all done?
Let's get everybody water. You need some water. Who else need water?
I got some water right there, fam. I'm good.
So you need got one water, anything else?
I already got the guy that gave me the waiter just came in.
One water is cool.
I'm good.
2 waters is one.
Lame ass running.
I don't want to have to pee all
You need to
over.
refill.
Just 2 waters.
Hey, you gotta pee, Wayne.
Alright, so played football in high school. Did a little bit of amateur wrestling, but not much because that's everyone thought that was weird. So I was like, I don't want to be an amateur wrestler. There's some weird shit that happened with those guys. So I only did that for a little bit. And then didn't end up playing college football. But I wanted to do something athletic. So I researched wrestling schools, and it was like, everything I found was like $6,000 for like 3 months. And I was like, yeah, I'm 19 years old, I'm not gonna spend that much money on wrestling. So I got into MMA. Spent until I was about 25 doing MMA on and off. Took a year off, and I was like, I just feel wrong not doing something. And then the opportunity came to wrestle, and I was like, well, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a try though. So I'm out of shape, come in, and when you start wrestling, at least at Row, they put you through 10 days of conditioning before you're doing it. And when I say conditioning, I don't mean like light shit. I mean like you're gonna throw up the first day.
Yes.
In fact, he was there for my first day. It's my day one. And then I just fell in love with it. I remembered how much I loved it, and
Appreciate it.
and got into the ring. Warren showed me my first rolls. Then I've been on since then. Full circle. Full circle. Everybody has a point in my wrestling career.
Did y'all start out the same day?
He
I
started.
started maybe 3 or 4 days before Rich. I was finishing. I probably had like 2 or 3 more days of conditioning when he walked in, and I just remember. I don't know. For some reason, he was doing burpees. I was like, "Come on, man, keep up." But I was dying too. So.
Make yourself feel good, too.
Yeah, I was just like, "Come on." I don't know why I took that role. So.
I'm sitting there next to this big buff dude. I'm not even gonna make. I'm just a fat guy.
Like, now we're here.
Now we're here.
No, none of y'all are part of my days. So. Okay. No.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that. No.
I just know if I came in, be like,
I'm the superstar. I came in. No, I'm kidding.
training camp. I want to go to training camp.
Yeah, right. Shit. No, for me it was flashes, man. Like I remember like growing up, like it's just I remember like a real vague being at my cousin's house like when I was young. I don't even know what I was. I'm just seeing Mankind get thrown off the cell by Undertaker. Just flashes like that, and then didn't think anything of it, moved forward. I thought it was crazy, but whatever. I'm young, I don't know what I'm looking at. And then I remember my cousin had one of those little plush like Hollywood Hogan NWO like dolls. You could, like,
I
wrestle
had that. I know exactly what you're
and
talking about.
I had the red and yellow Hulk Hogan one, and so
The pillow one?
Yeah.
I got the $1 million man.
I had
I got the $1 million man.
yeah, like you could wrestle with him, you could sleep with him
yeah.
or whatever. And I was so I didn't think anything of it, whatever. And then another flash, I was a kid at the Y, and I was summer camp. My parents were at work, and I remember this kid had all these like action figures. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And I don't know how I came across, but I ended up he gave me his RVD. It was in the white singlet with the black boots, black kick pads, knee pad, like just honestly half a day that I watched it was like I want to say 04, 05 till about 08, 09. around that area. It was, the cinematics, like for me it was, being physical, I played sports my whole life. It wasn't so much of like the physical aspect of it, because like I was very confident in my athletic ability. Like, having done sports my entire life, I knew like, okay, I could do that. But for me, what captured me and it drew me in was these larger than life characters. The music was hitting before anyone came out the curtain, the crowd just lost it.
Yeah.
The glass shatter. Can you smell? Like it was the crowd lost it, and you see like even the crowds back in like when I got older and went back and looked at the Mankind Hell in a Cell match, I'm like, and everyone was just jam packed in the stands like this. Like, how do you guys walk? Like the crowds were nuts. It's like, how could you not fall in love with that? Just being this larger than life person, like that's what enamored me. Just certain
like
guys
superheroes.
Modern
day superheroes.
Certain guys would come and go, certain girls would come and go, and it was like, oh, okay, whatever, yeah, and then like you hear the laugh and Trish Stratus would come out and everyone would lose their mind.
Yeah.
The and then the screamo and the Lido come out and start headbanging, and you're like, dude, that's awesome. Guys or girls, man, you just knew the people that just like drew you in, where it's like that's what got me. So that's what hooked me, and like I said, I watched pretty much up to that point, and then I remember getting into like middle school, high school, and I was like, oh, that's lame. I was kind of in that weird spot where I wasn't popular and cool, but I wasn't like lame and nerdy. I was in sports. I did fairly well with the ladies, and so I was kind of in that middle ground. So I was trying to be cool and popular. So wrestling's for nerds, it's lame. So I stopped watching it, and kind of like Dex said, I got into football. So I played soccer for the longest time. That was like my number one sport, and then I had a really bad anger problem. Well, I had a really bad anger problem because kids would try and muscle me, and I'd throw elbows and stuff. And
I can see it.
Trust me.
My brother's like,
Trust me, we can see it.
my brother's like, you should try football, and I was like, no, I don't know, we'll see. And so, the first year I could get into football, shot the pad. I'll never forget going out and just leveling. That's what my favorite thing to do, is just level people. I even had a kid come up to me like, can you stop doing that? You're making my head hurt. And for some reason, it sounds good.
Yeah.
And so, I
tell me that.
thrived. They put me a linebacker, and the rest was history. And I actually got all the way up until I signed a pro arena contract. I played a couple of years as semi-pro, and then got scouted each year, and got picked up for a better year, better league, and then I got to the Dallas Marshals. Well, they're now the Dallas Marshals, the Mesquite Marshals at Brooklyn. But I played for the Texas Power, which was their like feeder team. I played 1 year, got to semifinals playoffs, and then this guy collided, and I lost 15 minutes of memory. So I sat down with my GM and owner. I said, "Look, guys, I'm 19. Like, I think I'm gonna call that a year." When you start talking about brain problems and stuff, I was like, "That's at 19. I don't want to have to worry about when I wake up tomorrow morning. I don't want to die on the football field. I'm not gonna make it to the NFL. I'm not gonna die in the CFL. Or I'm not gonna go to the CFL, so I'm not gonna die on the football field." So I called it quits then. And it was kind of one of those where I was like sitting there at home, and I was like, "No, what am I gonna do with my life?" I'm about halfway into 3/4 of my junior year in college in North Texas, and I remember sitting on my phone like, man, I got no aspirations, no dreams, no goals after this. And it literally was just kind of like Warren said, it was a sign. I was literally scrolling through my phone on Instagram, and I saw Booker T's fantasy camp, and it was only like $100. And so way back in the day, I kind of skipped this part, when I was like in the thick of wrestling, like a diehard fan. Me and my buddy used to have a trampoline, so we'd go to his house and we'd wrestle. We made our own wrestling promotion. We'd spray paint the fence, bring TVs out, we'd bring our Xbox mics out, make it look like we had a mic under the table, and we'd like project, we did ladder matches and titles. We did everything. We had playlists, and created chopped and screwed on Windows.
Hell yeah.
Windows Movie Maker. We made our own little entrance videos and plugged into the TVs inside. It was a whole thing. We actually went door to door and recruited a whole bunch of wrestlers, like kids that wanted to wrestle. And wrestling, they just, hey, can we beat you up? Like, type of thing on trampolines. That's what we did. We had championships and everything. But anyway, fast forward. I called my guy, Scott was his name, and I was like, hey, Scott, there's a fantasy camp. We've always said if we could just get into a ring and see just how it felt. Just for shits and giggles, let's try it. Oh, I can't, man. I got a girlfriend, man. I'm pretty set. I got a warehouse job. I'm like, hey, bro, if you're satisfied with your life, that's all that matters. You're happy, cool. So, literally, paid for the fantasy camp the night before. Drove my car down to Texas City, from North Texas, about 3.5, 4 hours. Got to Row just to check out the facility, and Abel Andrews Jackson actually walked up. was like, hey, can I help you? Because I'm that weird kid, just kind of scoping the place out, what's going on. And I was like, oh, I'm here for the fantasy camp. I was just checking the facility out before, so I knew where I was going tomorrow. And I was like, oh, come on in. And so I remember going in, and Abel was the first person I met when I went in. AQA, Angela was on the ground.
AQA, shout out AQA.
Yeah, shout out AQA.
I'm a baby.
She was sitting on the floor tying her shoes. She was training me. This is 2.5 years ago. Tying her shoes and came right up to me, introduced herself, and I mean, it was what got me was like, man, they just like welcomed me in like I was family. Like, if I saw some weird kid scoping out the facility, like, hey, what are you doing, bro? This Abel was nothing but friendly. Hey, can I help you? Like, brought me right in. Everyone walked straight up to me like they had known me for years, and I mean, I was just like, oh my god,
You're still kind of some weird kid though.
honestly, they're probably, I left. Like, you can't just like scoping. Yeah. Either way, whatever. No, they just embraced me, and so I remember going back to my car and like, I'm so excited for this fantasy game. Like, this is an awesome place too. Free rings, wide open, facility. I mean, just
seeing it too, like, man,
posters and banners everywhere. Like, you knew it was official. Like, you felt like this is it. So anyway, I went back to my car, and I didn't have a place to stay, so I slept in my car outside the Buc-ee's right there off the highway in Texas City. Woke up the next morning, brushed my teeth. It was kind of Buc-ee's was like my house for the night or whatever. Just went in, felt hungry, got some meat, brushed my teeth, whatever. Came back to the fantasy camp and did the fantasy camp. And I guess I impressed so much that the Booker pulled me aside and said, "Hey, we want to bring you back and give you opportunity to train." And I'm like, "Hey, I told myself, I'll do that if you finish my last year of college. I would kill myself if I actually games. I'll move here. If I just moved here, God forbid something happens and I can't wrestle anymore, if I hurt myself or something, and I left college a year in advance. So let me get my degree, and I'll come back.
Something to fall back on.
Wrestle full time, and he was right there, shook my hand, gave me a big hug. We're here. And I was like, man, I got to do it. So as soon as I graduated, Stoney, I graduated in May. I had to write out my lease. I'm big on credit. Ain't missed a payment. Trying to build my credit. Perfect credit to this point. And so I wanted to maintain that. No, I take pride in that. I take pride in that.
You're not a renegade yet.
So
I don't know if I can say that.
so wrote on my lease. My lease was July 31st. I was in Houston with a place to stay August 1st. And my job tried to say, we can't transfer you. I was like, so what are you going to do? I was like, what are y'all going to do? I was like, I'm out. Like, I have a place in Houston. Like, I'm not one of those. I'm like, oh man, I don't have a job, so I can't. I'm moving to train. So I moved down here without a job and made it happen. I moved here August 1st, and then I think that was like a Wednesday or a Thursday. I don't want to interrupt their training. I don't know what I'm sure they have got like a structured thing, so I'll go on Monday. So Monday, August 5th, I walked in, and this man right here was sitting right there at the front desk with his sister. And I said, I want to sign up to be a pro wrestler. And he took one look at me and said, because the idea is body guys, they come and go.
Whatever you say, bro. Sorry.
Eat muscles.
They come and go. So
There you go. Go to the back. Get your condition. You get the fuck out.
Lo and behold, signed up, and the rest kind of just wrote itself. But wrestling was just at first just flashes, and then I remember when I first sat down and really watched it, just was hooked. There was nothing like it to me. Just to be able to have, because I had I don't know if it's small man, short guy syndrome or whatever. Superior.
It's big man syndrome.
Big man syndrome. That what it is. Okay, superiority complex. Man, I've been judged. Yeah, I've been judged by in everything that I ever did, any athletic. I'm Dex, I'm sure you get this too, brother. Like us three actually right here that have all been in sports. Mm-hmm. Especially football, they judge you off. Your 40's not fast enough. Mm-hmm. You can't bench press this many times. They're not strong enough. Like they look at me. Oh, you're 5. I was undersized my entire life. You're 5'5", 5'4", whatever. 5'6". Like I'm not good enough. So I have a chip on my shoulder. I watch guys like Rey Mysterio, Defy Odds. And they came out and they were the best damn performers in the business. Not just in the ring, but my God, they would saw them in a promo and they make you cringe if they were trying to piss you off, or you rooted for them when they were baby and you were trying to win the title. It's like, man, that stuck with me. I always knew I was athletic, but if I could master it, it'd be a whole different level. And so hooked from there, and the rest is history.
Oh, my turn? Okay. Mine is way shorter.
His is the worst story anyway, so
mine is as short as it works. Definitely.
We all have great stories.
All great childhood stories. I mean, I saw when I was little because when you're poor, something that you could watch.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really a big fan of it. My homeboy took me because he's a huge wrestling fan. He took me to NXT Takeover right here when Andrade won the NXT title against me, Drew McIntyre.
Nice.
I saw that and I was like, because I was done with college, I had ankle injury, ankle injury, I had a surgery. So my whole dream was to be in the Olympics. That all ended when I had an ankle surgery. So I was like, I couldn't bounce back to that. So I was just like, what I do? Became a teacher. Then my boy took me to this event. And I was like, I feel like my athletic ability can still do this. I feel like I can do this. Never was a big fan of it, but you know, I was watching when I was a little kid and stuff. So I was like, maybe, you know. Then I went to Booker's school because he's like, hey, Booker has a school. I was like, all right, bet I go. First day I went, it was Thanksgiving, Wednesday of Thanksgiving. First person I saw was Book, and I was like, what you want? I was like,
What you want?
I'm trying to sign up to be a wrestler, I guess. And he was like, I kid. Then he sent me JJ Blake. JJ Blake came. The rest is history. I was only gonna do it for a month, so I was like, I just want to try it out.
Yeah.
And they told me that I was like, I should try it, you know, continue doing this, you know, whatever. You know, I look like I should make a future with it. I don't know if they were trying to take money away from me or they really thought that I was good at it. I don't know. But the rest is history. I didn't really get into it until after my first match. After my first match with Clay, that's when I was like, yeah, this is for me. I feel like I'm really good at this, so why not? And that's it. You know, simple as that. Huh?
So 3 years ago.
Yeah. 3 years ago, that's when everything just clicked, and I was like, wrestling is for me.
We're all like, oh man, I remember this.
Yeah, it's like everyone had this extremely like,
oh my god, that's it, this is for me. And he just like, oh, I have to play. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I had a match of Clay. I hit the suplex, the bell rang, ding ding ding. Everyone booed. I was like, yeah, this is for me. Alright, man, let's
I
go.
just accidentally walked in the room one day.
Yeah.
Like in a match, I don't know.
I don't know, like, that's the thing, like, I'm not a big wrestling fan. I became a fan afterwards. I mean, when I was little, I watched Eddie Guerrero and like Rey Mysterio and all that.
You knew
like I knew who they were because when you were little, and especially my parents knew who they were because like luchadors and everything else. Mexico is like a big thing, right? Man, lucha's a big thing. But I was never like a fan of that. I was never die hard. Like, this is what I want to be as a kid. I just like, you know what, I still want to be an athlete. I can't be anything professional. I'm getting too old. I was 26. I was like, why not? My best friend was like, everyone kept telling me. I was 26 when I started.
But you're getting too old at 26?
Yeah, like to be an athlete, professional athlete. I was like, I was done. Like,
pro athlete.
As a pro athlete,
you're like,
See, I'm not a pro athlete, so I don't know.
So, because
30,
I finished college at 23. So after that, I did a year trying to bounce back after ankle surgery to make it to the Olympics. I was close enough before ankle injuries, but my ankle was so bad that I had to get surgery and I couldn't bounce back. I was 32, so I couldn't make it. So after that, I was like, I still want to be an athlete. I was kind of feeling like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to do this 9 to 5. Homeboy took me. I mean, he didn't tell me, he just told me. I was very interested. I was like, oh, this looks like fun. I can do it. I mean, entertaining, all this shit. Crowd, I love attention. I don't know if you can tell. But,
No. Spotlight.
Shocker.
but, once again, thanks. I love attention. So I was like, why not, man? I want to do it. I joined school. Did it. A year and a half after that, I joined my first match. In my first match, I was like, yeah. Because when you train and I never felt like, those never was my dreams. I was just an athlete. Like, I got to train, I got to get better, I got to do this. But after my first match, I was like, yeah, I got to get better. This is something I want to do. This is something I should do. This, I guess, not something I should do, something I meant to do. So, after that,
those who paved the way, man. I'm asking questions. Where have you been? What you been doing, man? I'm asking questions about the life that you're pursuing, cuz I'm only here to talk, only here to say it's the Stony Only Talk Radio. Siéntate, guacha.